Welcome. Today we're talking with Amy Brugh Caffee, Director of Financial Services at Angott Search Group. Amy, welcome and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
Thank you, Larry, for having me.
Great. Well, Amy, let's get started. Today's recruiting environment's a little different than it was a couple of years ago. So what are the big challenges today in the recruiting market?
Larry, that's a great question. I think that so many times an individual has a goal and objective they're looking to achieve as a candidate, and a hiring manager has a goal and objective that they're looking to fulfill. And it's how do we get everybody on the same page? And years ago, I had a great analogy presented to me when I had a leader in commercial banking call me one day and say, "Hey, Amy, you know what? I want to leave my job as a leader. I realize I'm going to be taking a huge cut in pay. I want to go back to being a producing RM. And I'm doing it because my last child is in high school and is a star athlete, and I miss my other three and all of the events that they did." And I think I was about 27 at the time, and I go running into my boss's office, and I was like, "Why would anybody want to give up all of this money? What's going on?" And so she's the one that I give credit to. She's like, people have ladders they walk in life. They have, personal, professional, and financial. And she said, which ladder is number one changes throughout the decades. And sometimes you climb up one ladder and down another. And so to know where you are as an individual and what's important to you, and a leader to be able to articulate the needs of a job and the responsibilities, and then make sure that everybody's on the same page, that's part of the success when you build that relationship with both parties.
Great, great insight. Thank you. So I want to dig in a little more on life ladders. Interesting concept. How do the different positions, I'll say, on life ladders impact interview strategies?
I think it's really about building relationships with candidates and asking them questions of, where are they in their career? Are they looking to climb the career ladder? Is their, life ladder, their personal ladder more important? I have a individual that she has a young family, and she was in commercial banking. And after her second, she decided to hit the pause button because she actually had a leader say to her, "If you're not out and networking every night and going to events, you're not going to have success in this business." And I kind of disagree with that because I think you can do it differently. But she made a decision at that point. She said, "I know that position isn't right for me right now. So this is a position that would be right for me." And then making sure that you convey that to a client. And, they understand that she does not want to be out 5 nights a week networking at events to develop business. So I think just self-awareness, being honest with oneself, and then really getting to know both parties is really what sets people up for success.
Great, great. Thank you, Amy. So how do you help hiring managers better understand the requirements of potential candidates for their positions?
You get to know them and what their expectations are. People talk all the time about different generations in the marketplace. And I think it's just beyond different generations. It's also, what are the goals of that team? What do they need to achieve? Is the team a solid team with a lot of experience? And can they bring someone junior in and pass that wealth of knowledge on to somebody who's up and coming in their career? Is it they need somebody who's going to hit the ground running? So asking the right questions to the leader to guide them to what they need for success, and then asking the right questions with candidates is really what's critical.
Great. Amy, thank you. Let's look at that the other way. Looking at the recruiting hiring process from the candidate's perspective, how do you help the potential candidate better understand what hiring managers are actually looking for?
You build a strong relationship with the candidate and really get to know what their needs are, but also try to, with both of them, allow them to encourage them to step outside of their own shoes and look at things through the lens of each other. So, a candidate has to look at the lens of a hiring manager. You're there to solve a problem for them. The problem is they have an opening. Does the opening drive business? Does the opening mitigate risk? Does the opening look at credit? And then the candidate has to be understanding of knowing that they have to be the person that can solve that problem. And also that there's competition out there. so many people get hung up on, I did something wrong during the interview process, or could I have said something differently? Sometimes you're just not going to win the interview because somebody else's experience is different. And I think that's the hardest part for candidates, is to really understand that they do have competition and that they have to set themselves apart from the competition, and how to do that.
Great, great. So hypothetically, I'm a candidate for a position, and I'm talking with you about this. And so, how could I learn? How could I educate myself? How could I build these skills to think more about the hiring manager's business problem, needs, etc.?
Yeah, well, actually, we've introduced a class here. It's a workshop that's going to be a 4-week workshop. It's 8 sessions. They're an hour long. They're over the lunch hour Eastern Standard Time. And we're really trying to help people and offer them an opportunity to look at how to build their resume, look at how to build their LinkedIn, look at how to network. I think that's the one thing, especially with so many options now, they're remote. A lot of people have lost their network because they have been remote. And so getting out and getting active, going to events, networking, volunteering, whatever it is, putting yourself out there and recognizing that it might not be perfect for you and it might not be perfect for the hiring manager. And so how do we try to give you the tools to better position yourself and make sure that you are presenting your best foot forward?
Great, great. Amy, thank you for spending time with today's Banker Digest and
Yes,
sharing
absolutely.
your insights on how hiring managers and candidates can better understand each other, that will likely result in not only an initial better match, but also a longer term placement. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it.
Great. So in closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If you have additional questions for Amy, please see the link in her bio.